After reaching the bottom of the ocean, things apparently got more intense, and a massive hand showed up from nowhere and attacked Lu Sheng unprovoked. He quickly dodges, but the hand reappears right behind him, forcing him into a chase. Even so, he moves faster, slipping away again and again. At that moment, an angry voice erupts, declaring him nothing but a slimy insect, one that won't escape punishment. Meanwhile, our boy, remembering their last encounter, doesn't plan to fall for the same trap twice, and he's certainly not going to get pulled inside a fissure again. Now he decides it's time to strike back. He gathers his strength and releases a powerful punch. Surprisingly, the creature remains unharmed. Still, he observes that it no longer feels as terrifying as before. Meanwhile, he's already achieved his goal, so he doesn't plan to stay any longer. Using the rebound force from his attack, he shoots upward, and just to rub it in, he extends a finger in a classic taunting gesture, which instantly makes the creature's eyes burn red. Its tentacles tremble with fury as it vows revenge, but Lu Sheng only laughs and remarks that it can try catching him someday, if it ever can. Moments later, he bursts through to the surface and confirms his suspicion that the creature is really stuck down there. Therefore, with peace of mind, he turns his focus back to Earth's future. Seems like our boy is strong enough that he no longer needs to enter the dream realm to simulate the future. The results, however, shock him. Apparently, Earth will be destroyed in 7 years, 1 year sooner than before. He guesses he must have angered that creature, and now it's digging much faster. Nevertheless, he reasons that 7 years is still enough time to evacuate humanity, and perhaps 3 years is more than enough. But the problem is, what if the creature breaks out and the disaster doesn't stop at Earth? What if it sweeps across entire star systems? The thought unsettles him, so he decides to simulate further, this time examining the future of the entire Sky Serpent system. The outcome turned out disastrous because 7 years later, the Dark Lord invades, White Mist Sector falls, and the entire system becomes the front line of a cosmic war. Now we see the butterfly effect in action. He realizes his own actions may have triggered this chain of events. He clenches his fists, acknowledging that every move could change the fate around him. As his teacher once explained, their world is like an apple. If the worms bite through the skin, everyone inside suffers. Either he must pierce through and crush the worms outside, or brace for invasion and fight them off. In any case, strength is the deciding factor, and a Dark Lord capable of collapsing an entire star system must be at least 14th level, maybe 15th. And last time he checked, that's a level that he himself wouldn't reach for at least another tens of thousands of years. Even so, he must do something. Stretching out his hand, he seizes a mutated shark. Without hesitation, he infuses it with part of his mutated cell, forcing a transformation. The little dude's eyes glow red, its body reshapes, and arms sprout from its sides. However, the little creature appears exhilarated, but Lu Sheng simply observes the success and asserts that the method is viable. Shortly after, he releases it back into the water, knowing he can still control it. Now he plans to have the little dude monitor the constantly expanding fissure, saying it's a watchful eye placed right where it matters most. Meanwhile, the little dude wastes no time and immediately begins feasting on other fish. Lu Sheng, on the other hand, hardly worries. After all, with his current strength, even if the mutated cells misbehave, it's nothing more than a small drain on his psychic energy, and he still has absolute control over it inside his body. The scene then shifts back to the yacht. At that moment, he takes Snowy's hand and casually announces that they should move to another planet. She pauses in surprise, but soon agrees, sweetly adding that she will always listen to her hubby. As expected, Lu Sheng doesn't linger on Earth for long. By the very next day, he's already back in space. Traveling over a dozen light years, he arrives before a blazing, fiery planet, one that roars with heat and energy. And this was apparently his next training ground, the place most suited for his cultivation at the moment. Now we see why he chose this particular place. He had meticulously chosen this place simply because the nearest life planet lay 15 light years away. Even if the star exploded, nothing around would suffer. Of course, he admits to himself that he probably doesn't yet have the power to make a star go boom. Still, better safe than sorry. The problem is, the surface temperature already burns at 6,000 degrees Celsius. He knows steel would vaporize at half that, and at 6,000, atoms themselves break apart. Could his body withstand such extremes? He suspects not, but then again, how would he know without trying? Even so, before rushing in, he decides to get stronger first. But before that, he needs to make a call. On the other end, a girl asks what he needs. Lu Sheng calmly explains he'll send her a coordinate. and every 10 days she should have people deliver energy crystals. She agrees right away. Then, with a note of curiosity, she adds that the senator wonders whether the issue on his home planet has been solved. Lu Sheng asserts it has been perfectly handled, and asks her to pass along his thanks. Immediately afterward, the topic shifts to the tournament. The invitation has already been dispatched, with the venue set in the Yamu 4 months from now. Lu Sheng responds lightly, saying as long as he gets notified in advance, it's fine. The call ended, and our boy entered the training chamber. Inside, a decent stash of crystals scatters all around, at least enough for now. He gave the command to start. Immediately, the gravity inside multiplies 50,000 times over, and instantly, his body nearly collapses. Blood seeps from his nose and mouth, and he's crushed almost flat. Nevertheless, his eyes gleam with determination. The sensation, he notes, feels like having an entire planet pressing down on him. Trembling, he pushes himself upright, shouting through gritted teeth. His skin splits, blood flows, yet he refuses to give up. Extraordinary times call for extraordinary methods, and right now, he only has one goal, which is to grow even stronger. Energy surges through him, and his aura bursts outward with crystals flying into orbit around him. For the first time in his life, our boy throws himself into training without restraint, burning everything for growth. Meanwhile, far away, the invitation races across the star sectors. Soon, powerful figures nearby had all received it. In the Manyun sector, an old man with flowing hair breaks open the seal. He scoffs, remarking that Yamu is showing off their immortal level too soon. With disdain, he destroys the invitation and orders his people not to attend such tournament. Immediately, folks around him got on one knee and said they understood. Elsewhere, in another sector, a girl hurries into a room with her helmet on, clutching the same letter. She asks her father, the robed man with a staff, if he's seen it. He answers that he already knows. Kneeling, she doesn't call him father this time, but great archbishop, requesting his permission to attend. The man warns her gravely, asking if she realizes this involves an immortal-level prodigy. She asserts all the more firmly that's the exact reason why she must go. She reasons that facing such bloodlines might allow her to push past her limits, perhaps even bring her closer to the Almighty. The man stays silent for a long moment. Finally, he stretches out his hand, sending a stream of energy into her body. Then he remarks that immortal level is not an unbreakable myth. The sacred seal will guide her, and he declares his hope that divine glory will manifest through her. The girl opens her eyes with confidence, declaring she will never disappoint. Meanwhile, over in the hill sector, tempers also flare. The senator grumbled that Yamu must have stumbled upon sheer dumb luck. After all, who had the audacity to host such a grand tournament with only 9th level? To him it feels almost insulting. Soon enough, a young man named Hull steps forward. The senator hands him the invitation with a smile, remarking that his trip to the battlefield might need to wait. Perhaps this contest will spark his interest instead. Hull reads the letter carefully. In the meantime, the senator can hardly hide his delight. After all, Hull already boasts 12th level strength and carries the rare sunlight level bloodline. Better yet, his technique lets him mask his full power. Since the invitation only allows 11th level to enter, Hull can downplay himself perfectly. Thinking all this, he is already anticipating that maybe Hull would end up beating or perhaps killing that immortal level altogether. Of course, Lu Sheng is oblivious to all this happening. He's still buried in his training. 10 days pass in a flash. When he finally opens his eyes, he notices with surprise that he seems a bit shorter, as if the crushing gravity had pressed him down by a few centimeters. He laughs it off, knowing the effect is only temporary. The truth is, his strength has never felt more solid, and his immortal cells have soared to 30,000. At that moment, he flexes his hand, testing the firmness of his body. Then, without hesitation, he steps out of the ship. And obviously there's no better moment than now to test his strength against this very star.